This is our last devotional this week, and I just want to thank you so much for letting me into your home, into your life. It is my utmost desire that I would be able to encourage you and stimulate you to want to be like Jesus, to want to let Him fill the space that is maybe more space than ever in this season, with more and more of His presence. I believe as you and I focus on the Scriptures together, learn to focus our hearts and our mindset on Him, we are being transformed one day at a time, more and more like Him. The text we're looking at is beautiful. One of the unique things about this passage is what Jesus says right before He tells His first two parables. A parable is a metaphor. It's an analogy. It's a picture of something that lets you see deeper into spiritual reality. A parable is a picture, it's an analogy, it's a metaphor that lets us see into a deeper spiritual truth. So this is the parables in the Gospel of Luke. Luke actually gives more parables than any other Gospel. 24 parables in the Gospel of Luke, and 18 of those are unique to this Gospel. So the parables here are in line with what Jesus is saying about Himself. In His rebuttal or His response to the Pharisees' kind of critique, criticism, and comparison that He's not doing enough fasting with His disciples, He says, would you ask the attendants of a bridegroom to fast while he's with them? The answer is an obvious no. And then He goes through two more things that He calls parables. The first one is, would you take a new garment, cut out a patch to patch an old garment? The answer, no. Would you pour new wine into an old wineskin that's going to burst? No. He concludes the whole section with, yet you say no to who I am, the bridegroom. The bridegroom is a dominant theme throughout the Old Testament. We see it in Hosea when he's charged to be the bridegroom and marry a prostitute. Literally, a beautiful picture of Christ marrying, reaching out to someone rejected. But it's a picture of Israel's rejection of Jesus. And that's exactly what is taking place in the Gospel of Luke. Israel, Jesus goes to them in the religious environment, the synagogues, and they reject Him. Now He is moving His message to a Gentile audience and to those that are estranged from the religious core. Jesus does that with this beautiful picture that He's the bridegroom. And the New Testament will tell us that we are the bride. In Ephesians chapter 5, when Paul addresses husbands and wives, he compares that relationship to that of Christ, the bridegroom, and we, the bride. That second illustration that he gives of a garment is also tied in to who we are in Christ. In Isaiah, when Isaiah describes Christ as the bridegroom, chapter 61, verse 10, he says that the bridegroom wants to give us His robes of righteousness. You see, the old system of religion got righteousness by being good, got righteousness by observing laws. In the new system, it's the goodness of God that makes us righteous. It's His rightness that makes us right. Peter spoke of this in 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 18, where he says, For Christ suffered once for all, the righteous for the unrighteous, to bring you to God. The Apostle Paul said it in 2 Corinthians chapter 5, which is one of my favorite passages. Verse 21, he says, God made Him who had no sin, Jesus, to be sin for us, so that we might be the righteousness of Christ in God. It's beautiful. It's saying that the bridegroom makes us beautiful. The bridegroom makes us right. You see, what Jesus wanted the Pharisees even to see on that day was that there was new wine. There was a new garment, a robe of righteousness available. There was the bridegroom of God standing right before them. Won't you accept it? But they chose to reject it because they would rather hold on to the old than to accept and embrace the new that they didn't understand, that didn't fit their paradigm. Today, I'm hoping that you have a heart that's full of new, the new wine. And I hope you're robed in the new robe of righteousness. And I hope you're embracing a relationship with the lover of our soul. Because Jesus has come to make all things new, starting with our relationship with Him. Embrace His forgiveness and His mercy today. And because of that great mercy and great love, let us love others the way He has loved us. I look forward to seeing you this next week as we start another message in Luke chapter 6. I will see you soon. Invite a friend on Facebook. Invite someone to the party. God bless. Have a great day.